Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Monday Rules. And now of course, before I announce the new Monday Rules challenge for this particular week, I first have to announce the winner for last week's Colorado challenge. And so the winner for the most damage done in a Colorado goes to Menbearpigg from the EU server. So congratulations first of all, and I'll be sending you some doubloons. But of course, like every week's Monday Rules episode, I will show you the replay and I will talk about things that I've noticed. First thing I actually noticed was the fact that Menbearpigg actually equipped the range upgrade on the Colorado. Some people might just be like, but hold on, didn't you just do a whole Colorado review video where you were very much against the range module upgrade? And I still am, because even though Menbearpigg uses a range module in this particular fight, if you watch the actual battle unfold, you'll see that the majority of the damage that he does is actually within sort of that 14-15-ish kilometer range. So having the range upgrade really doesn't do much in this particular sense. In fact, Menbearpigg probably would have done better had maybe he carried AA, although, with the independence on the other team, probably not much to worry about either. But still, the AA probably would have been a better overall module to have than the range module because, well, in a lot of battles, that's the thing with the Colorados, even if you are able to shoot out to 19, and with the Scout, you could get the range up to maybe like 21-ish kilometers. But regardless, at that kind of range, the Colorado's dispersion is so bad that, yeah, you might get the lucky hit here, hit there, maybe even the lucky Citadel, but truth be told, it is so unreliable that it's just not worth it. And the AA module, which is much more reliable because it just gives a hard bonus, is definitely a better bet. As you can see here, when Menbearpigg, oh god, I keep wanting to say Menbearpigg. Okay, Menbearpigg is engaging that other Colorado at like 18-ish kilometers. You can see that the shell dispersion is actually pretty bad. The more reliable target at this particular time would have actually been the Nagato, which is starting to close the range more. And the Nagato, entering so that 15 kilometer zone, can be engaged with a reasonable degree of reliability. The Colorado is very good at close ranges. It's just not great at long range. But ironically, the Colorado has one thing really going for it when it gets into the close range fights, which is it doesn't really have a very high shell arc. Its shells are much more flat, meaning that it's a lot easier for you to actually hit your targets. I noticed this in particular because I moved up to the North Carolina after the Colorado, and for the first few battles I had in North Carolina, I couldn't hit anything at all. Every single shell was just going everywhere else that I didn't expect it to go, and I was like, what's going on? And that's because the NorCal had a much higher shell arc than the Colorado did. So the Colorado, as you can tell, if you can brawl with it, the shells and everything, much more friendly to close range engagements. Still, at around, as you can see, around 15-ish kilometers, the shell dispersion is significantly better than when it was at like 19, 20-ish kilometers, and that means that the Colorado could actually fight at that distance reasonably comfortably. So had Menbearpigg wanted to fight the Nagato, perfectly doable. There is one thing, by the way, Menbearpigg, that I really liked about the way you played, which is I really liked how you would fire and then, once you fired, the shells are gone anyways, you actually turn around and look at the map, and so that prevents you from running into islands and things like that. Something that I don't even do that well, to be honest. I should get better at that myself, because we all suffer a little bit from tunnel vision, so getting caught on an island is usually not a very good thing. So it's very good actually to fire the salvo, and once the salvo's been fired, it's gone anyways. Take a quick look around to see if you're going to run into anything. And then if you actually want to track your shells, you can actually hit the Z key. Track your shells, watch where they land, and so you know whether your initial aim was off and how much it was off by. So that is something to think about as well. Nevertheless, as you can tell in this particular point of the map, as Menbearpigg sort of pushes down to his cap, which by the way was also the right decision because one, the enemy team had a lot more ships up north, and second, his team's cap wasn't north, so it was actually a smart decision to go south. But once you're south, you're in a sort of a more close range engagement, because if the enemy team pursues you south, they've got to go through the sort of the narrower channels, and once they go through there, the range comes down dramatically. Menbearpigg does get a little bit lucky though. His first Citadel hit comes off of an Independence that is 17, almost 18 kilometers away, and he managed to get that shot over the hill. So that's kind of luck. I mean, that's, you know, where you get the range finder that kind of lobs the shell over, and then you've got the sort of the extra little bit of whatchamacallit, dispersion maybe, that landed that one lucky hit. Still, I mean, citadels are nice, especially with 16-inch shells. They do a lot of damage. Menbearpigg's first kill comes from a beached cruiser. See, and this is the thing about being in a cruiser and losing situational awareness and getting stuck on an island. The chances of a battleship punishing you for it is tremendous. I've had times where a cruiser just got stuck on an island for maybe a few seconds, and I wiped out 20,000-30,000 of its HP. So as a cruiser, the situational awareness thing is even more important. At least with a battleship, you can take some hits sometimes. Okay, so Menbearpigg's next shot is against a Furutaka. And once again, if you paid attention to the range at which Menbearpigg is engaged in that Furutaka, mind you got some beautiful hits there. 1 citadel, 3 target hits, and just watch the Furutaka's HP disappear. But once again, if you pay attention to the range, it's like 13 kilometers. That's kind of that ideal engagement range in a Colorado. That's the kind of range you're really looking for. Next up, Menbearpigg starts... Oh, there I go again. Menbearpigg. Locked onto an enemy New York. The New York, up against the Colorado, it's a really bad fight. Colorado has 16-inch guns. New York's armor isn't really going to do that well against the Colorado. And even just raw penetration damage could be quite substantial. And remember, these low-tier battleships don't really have a ton of HP. So there we go, against the New York, first salvo, 6 hits, 11,000. No citadels, but that's okay. That's already a huge chunk of HP that goes away. But Menbearpigg gets a little distracted. There's another target that's a little bit easier to kill, I think, initially, that he wanted to go for. But the New York did start to present him a better profile. That side shot, those nice big broadsides, oh, that is just going to be beautiful if you can get the right kind of dispersion. And as you can see, the Colorado shells don't hang, nice and tight there. Bam, 3 citadels and just 2 target hits, and that New York just vanished. And that is something that this Colorado is capable of. But once again, pay attention to that range, right? Colorado wasn't really far away, wasn't trying to do this at max range, got nice and close. By the way, did you see that? Oh my goodness. And people say HE isn't overpowered. Miyoko fired 1 HE salvo and basically took out 9,000 HP on HE damage alone. Remember, the Colorado grand total added together only has 50,000 HP. And just to have a cruiser come up and be like, here's 9,000 off. Oh, that just sucks. And see, look at this salvo back. Yeah, his salvo, 5 hits, 5 16-inch shells hit that Miyoko, did less damage than Miyoko's initial HE salvo. It's just, people who say HE isn't broken are just really they're lost. But yeah, no, it's just HE is ridiculous right now. But still, as long as a battleship, battleship isn't completely helpless against cruisers. As long as the cruiser keeps its bow towards you, first of all, it's got limited damage output. That's the first thing, because it's only got its forward guns. But as a battleship, if you can get the cruiser to ever give you a side, you can absolutely take down the cruiser with multiple citadel hits, or at least wipe out a significant chunk of HP so that the cruiser doesn't really want to fight you anymore. Still, I have to say that in this particular engagement, Menbearpigg does get a little bit lucky here. The enemy cruisers had their attention kind of divided. They were taking down, I think, another battleship at the time. Had all 3 cruisers been focusing all of their fire on him, and you see even there, the Miyoko had turned his attention somewhere else. Had everybody been firing on Menbearpigg and set as many fires and then wait for him to repair and then set more fires, the situation would have been a lot worse. And I think also that Cleveland is firing armor piercing. Yeah, Cleveland was actually firing AP. Clevelands can't fire AP. Not really so much against battleships. And if you are firing against battleships, definitely not on the belt armor where it's going to bounce. There is one more thing I want you to keep focus on, or at least pay attention to. Menbearpigg here had started off with 3 repair party. That's the consumable that repairs HP. and you will see how badly he's going to hope he actually had that 4th charge. And that's one of the things about this Colorado, is that sometimes you wish that you had that 4th charge because your ship really doesn't have as much HP. Still, the current engagement is somewhat favorable still. In terms of numbers, they're about even, although Menbearpigg's team doesn't have a second high-tier battleship. That might come back to bite them a bit later. But during this particular chunk, the next couple of minutes, there were some misplays, and on a lot of battles, having those misplays can be the difference between winning and losing. And yes, I know hindsight is 20/20, but Warships being a much slower game, you should take that time to analyze. Always take time to weigh your options. Analyze the battle. It's not about who can get off the shots the fastest, who can do things the quickest. A lot of times it is, can I do the right thing at the right time? So the first mistake that Menbearpigg makes in this particular engagement is he turned his ship, exposed his broadside to 2 battleships that were both packing 16-inch guns. Took a very unnecessary damaging hit, and that hurt him. And he did it, I think, because he wanted to get shots on the Furutaka. Just wasn't worth that damage. Remember how I mentioned a little bit earlier that the Colorado could really do with that 4th repair party consumable, that 4th use? It would have actually, I think, helped in this particular fight as well. But hey, some things just don't always go your way, and that's what causes the wins and losses sometimes. It's just these little things. And in this particular case, of course, Menbearpigg is even at a greater disadvantage because if you actually look on the map, his cruiser is AFK. Has been AFK, I think, the entire battle. So that didn't help that he was already also shipped down. He did get a little bit lucky here. The 2 enemy battleships, the Nagato and the Colorado, haven't actually, especially the Nagato, hasn't actually focused on Menbearpigg. It's in fact focused on the other battleship on the team, which was also a bit of a misplay by the enemy team, but allows at least Menbearpigg to get 2 free shots, I think, on this Furutaka, which does allow him to actually kill this cruiser. Once again, as you can tell, once you get within that closer range, 10-ish kilometers, the dispersion, while still not great, is manageable and does allow you to fight relatively efficiently against enemy ships. There you go, killed number 4, bags himself a cruiser. Enemy Nagato, still not sure what that Nagato is really doing because Menbearpigg has been giving them kind of a broadside for a while and hasn't been punished for it. Okay, so there it goes. That is the last repair skill that's been used. So here is the situation. Menbearpigg has lost the last battleship, the last friendly battleship on his team. He's 2-on-1 against 2 enemy battleships. Gave a good amount of damage to that Nagato, took him down quite a lot, so it might just be a 1-on-1. But in this 1-on-1 fight, the enemy Colorado has substantially more HP. So what do? The decision you make here, and this is the make or break time. Look at the situation on the map, look at the team numbers you've got left. In this particular time, what is the best thing to do? You've got half the HP of that Colorado. You have no cruiser. The enemy team still has a cruiser. You've got a carrier, but judging by the amount of planes the carrier is sending out, it's already lost all of its torpedo planes. What do? And he just lost a gun. So you're down to 6 guns. What is your best decision? Menbearpigg tries to continue to sort of retreat further away from this Colorado, and also at the same time keeping his armor angled. It's not a bad choice. Mind you, remember that extra repair kit? That repair party, that would have been so helpful at this particular time. That extra little bit of HP might have actually been enough to help him. But I think this still is not the best play. The best play at this particular situation, net down, he's down to sort of like 15,000 health. Enemy battleship has double his HP. Best situation in this particular case is draw the fire from the enemy Colorado, wait till the enemy Colorado has actually fired the salvo, turn your ship around, and go for a ram. That would probably be the best play. See, running away isn't working, and without that extra repair party, can't get back any HP. So when he had that 15,000 HP after that initial salvo did get drawn out, should have turned in, should have gone in and closed that range. By being sometimes the aggressor, you force the other ship to do something that they didn't think that they were going to do. Right now, that Colorado is in the I'm the hunter, I'm the chaser, I'm the one that's coming here to hunt you down. Menbearpigg is fully right now on the defensive. I'm trying to stay angled, trying to stay safe, trying to bounce shells. But if you sometimes turn the table and you just go on the offense, you can throw the enemy battleships sometimes for a loop. They're like, oh, whoa, what's going on here? Like, this is a completely different play. And by doing that, and if you continue to wiggle a little bit, and you bounce some shells, dodge some shells, you can get into a range where you're actually able to potentially ram a battleship to death. And in which case, what you might be left with is only one enemy cruiser. Who knows? That's the situation at the end. Still doable. In fact, if you look at the map right now, had Menbearpigg actually gone for the initial ram, there's a good chance that he could have stayed angled enough to the Colorado to actually ram the Colorado to death, but actually used his guns to shoot at that Cleveland. Could have maybe done a little bit more here, might have been able to actually help the team win. So that's the thing about decisions. Sometimes you can make the decision that you think is the best decision at the time, but sometimes afterwards you got to analyze it and say, could I have done something differently? And then if you could, next time try to actually execute it. Still, nevertheless, in a Colorado, Menbearpigg did, a ton of damage, and we'll look at his statistics right about now. Menbearpigg's team still does lose the battle, but his individual performance was definitely very, very good. Managed to bag himself 5 citadels, 4 ships sunk, 60 target hits, defended the base a whole bunch of times, managed to get himself a Confederate and a high caliber. So definitely very, very good performance there. 1,587 experience on a defeat is definitely no slouch. Menbearpigg managed 154,132 damage in a Colorado, which is absolutely fantastic because, a lot of people struggle with this ship, and, here's proof that this ship can do well. However, do keep in mind that the Colorado is much more suited to close-up play instead of sort of staying back and trying to snipe things from long range. So for those of you with Colorados, get close and smash people's faces in. Okay, Menbearpigg, keep your... Damn it. There I did it again. Menbearpigg, keep your eye out for your emails. I'll be sending you some doubloons. And of course, time to issue this week's Monday Rules Challenge. And this week's Monday Rules Challenge is as follows. It was suggested by Donald Epot, or Epot. Gosh, okay. I'm terrible with names. Anyways, it's a tier 6 cruiser challenge. So use either a Cleveland or Aoba. Use AP only. Do as much AP damage as possible. There are no other limits. Good luck, everybody, and remember, Monday rules.